You can see the wheel trucks are very different. They were made in England, and I am told they were modeled on the London subway wheel trucks.
The same type?
Yeah, same type as the London subway. Very unique wheel truck.
So you can tell me some your old time you like you stay in the driver's side, you can look
Oh yeah. I like to stand right up at the front window. And of course, one time when I was a little boy, maybe in 2nd or 3rd grade, I was going from Taichung to Hsinchu, and I was standing right up there. And just when we crossed the Dajia River, Dajia Shi, when we crossed that bridge, a bird flew in front of the train and hit the windshield right where my nose was. It really scared me. But it was fun standing right up here because you see the driver. And then they also changed the lupai. They would open the door and they exchanged the lupai. So that was always fun for me to see as a little boy.
maybe not the same side.
This side or this side?
Oh,
yeah, both sides. Yeah. But these were seats up here, so you couldn't stand there because those were seats. People were sitting there. So if you wanted to come up front, you had to stand up here by the window.
So you always stand there?
Always stand right there. That was my favorite place. Yeah. That's a beautiful model. And I really like the wheel trucks. They're very unique. The only thing missing from this model, and it looked like it used to be here, is they had a cushion for the tablet, for the lupai. So when the conductor caught the lupai, it would swing back and hit here. So there was a cushion so that it wouldn't dent the metal. But yeah, that's a really nice model.
So the headlight is one big one?
Yeah, originally one big one. And then in the 1960s, they made 2 smaller ones. Yeah. So this is very Japanese with this, this here. I think in Japan this was a small marker light, but in Taiwan they never used it. But the mold, the steel molding was there because these cars were designed by Japanese. This was my favorite. I love the lupai exchange, the tablet hoop exchange. So this is Holy Station, and this is the, I think, Dui Hao Kwai Cha. And so they were going very fast through Holy Station. He drops it off. And then at the end of the platform, there's a pole with another lupai, and he grabs it with his arm. So that was always fun to see.
以前的那个
You know, they repainted R40 to be a blue,
Yeah.
but it's not dark enough. The blue was darker.
Oh.
Yeah, the blue was darker. And this is my Japanese friend, Mr. Miyata. He visited Taiwan in 1965, and he was able to visit the Alishan line and also Jiayi Roundhouse and some East Coast. And he took some very nice pictures because he had permission to go to the locomotive roundhouse.
Oh.
And on the Alishan line, he took this very nice picture here. And this picture is taken by a friend of mine that I met. His father was in the American military, and they lived in Hsinchu. And so this was taken in 1958 when they lived in Hsinchu. And this is a very nice station of old Hsinchu. You can see the pedicabs, you can see the people with vegetables and fruit that they're selling out in front of the station. You can see the old national bus here. That's a beautiful picture.
No, the roof is different.
The roof is different and the color is different. The color is
also
different.
different.
And these locomotives, Taiwan bought 12 of these from Hitachi, also in 1960. And these locomotives were very unreliable compared to the American locomotives from General Motors. And after a few years, Taitia did not even dare run these locomotives on the main line because they were always breaking. So you would generally see these locomotives in the Taipei area, in switching, in Taipei Station or Huashan Freight Yard. Sometimes they would run with local trains to Hsinchu or Miaoli, but that was about it. But when they first came, these trains would pull the Guangguanghao or the Duihao Kuai, but they were unreliable and they would break. One time I was on a train with this pulling an express and it broke. And so we had to stop and they had to bring another locomotive. But they were very, very eclectic looking locomotives, much different than the American GM locomotives.
So he is earlier than R20?
Same year.
Same year?
Same year,
Same
yeah.
time?
1960. Just starting in July, Chia. Yeah. And the General Motors locomotives, they arrived in 1960 in April. So just a few months earlier. But everyone in Taiwan really likes this locomotive because originally it had very large headlights, two big headlights, and it looked like frog's eyes. So that was the nickname of the locomotive. It was Frog's Eyes. But you could always see it coming. It was a beautiful locomotive, just very unreliable.
So position not between 有一点偏哈，位置不是正中央。The two lights.
No, they're centered. They're centered.
Oh.
Yeah. But they were very, very large lights, okay? Whereas the GM locomotives, as you can see here, they had very small lights. So it's just a different type of technology.
一个是直的，一个是横的。
These locomotives first came, of course, they were painted blue. But at the back end, the General Motors locomotives, the R20 locomotives, the stripe, the white stripe here, it went around the back. But on the Hitachi locomotives at the back, they had that. So that was another way you could tell a Hitachi locomotive was different from a General Motors. So you can see here in the back, it's got a the striping there is like the front end. So this picture, I just got very lucky. This was the 5th day of the service of the new Zhuguanghao. So the cars were brand new. They had just arrived in Taiwan from Japan, and the locomotive was only 1 month old. And you can tell the locomotive is very new because the pockets, the cable pockets, were painted red on the headstock. That's how you could always tell a new locomotive, because they were painted that way at the factory, but then after they came to Taiwan, when they were repainted, they were painted generally black, not red. Here's another picture from the same day. This is at the Yutian-Ping Bridge between Shenzhen and Tai'an. And you can see this is also a new locomotive here. And this is on the Guangguanghao. But because the train is so long, the first 2 cars are Duihao Kuai coaches without air conditioning. And then the Guangguanghao coaches start right here and go back from there. And then this is the Huanghua Hao. And this was, these rail cars were produced in Japan under license from the Bud Company in America. These were the first stainless steel cars ever produced in Japan. And to this day, they're still very, very beautiful. And then this again is my favorite Fei Kwai Cha, like we were showing the car down there. And this is at a station just south of Taichung called Erlingyi signal siding, or 201 kilometer signal siding. And the Taichung station south of Taichung is here now. And this is all high-rise buildings. But in 1969, December 1969, this is what it looked like. This here is of my hometown of Hsinchu, and this is a freight train pulled by a 1961 locomotive, number R44. And the freight trains in Taiwan at that time had many wooden cars. Most were four-wheel freight cars made of wood. So this is one of my favorite pictures because it shows the old freight trains. And Mr. Huang Shumen, he was, I also was in Geelong to see these locomotives come. I watched them arrive on the ship, but he was there when they were unloaded. And this is a S400 locomotive being unloaded from the ship. There were 44 locomotives on this ship. R Ibai, Ibai Lingyi Dao Ibai Sanshizhou, 101 to 139, and S401 to S405. So altogether, 44 locomotives were on that ship. So that was quite something. It was fun to see. And I took many pictures of the locomotives on the deck of the ship. But Mr. Huang Shumen, being the official railway photographer, he could watch them unload the next day and take pictures the next day. Yeah. My hometown of Hsinchu, and the first station was Druzhong on the Neiwan line. And my mother and father were missionaries, and they had a small church at every station on the Neiwan line. So they had a small church near Druzhong, one in Drudong, one in Hongshan, one in Jiuzhantou, one in Hoxing, and one in Neiwan. So we rode the train a lot to go to the various churches. That's the wrong number. That's the right. It's too bad you can't see the other side because then you can see the whole. But there's a very big mystery about these engines. You know what it is? They were short, and evidently before they came to Taiwan, they were cut and made about one door. That door panel and this door panel are not in the original pictures. That's new. And this little step here, see the walkway step? That used to end right by the handrail. So I know the locomotive is longer. Yeah. No question. Because the original builder's photos, the fuel tank is smaller, and these two doors, this door and a door right here, are not there. They put them in later. And when the locomotive got lengthened, this small step here was moved from there to there. Yeah. And you can see in the original photographs very, very clearly that the fuel tank is smaller and that the step is back here. It was done in Japan. It was before they came to Taiwan. It was lengthened, almost maybe 1 meter. This is one of my. I just love the roundhouse, and of course Hsinchu, like Zhanghua and Jiayi and Taipei and Kaohsiung, had a beautiful roundhouse. And here in 1970, my last year of school in Taiwan, they reconstructed the center roundhouse. And eventually they reconstructed everything except for these two bays. This is a very interesting picture because you can see the steam locomotives. These types were used for the Neiwan line. This one, this one, and this one. These were used for the main line, for the big freight trains on the main line. And this is a Fei Kwai Cha diesel car. This is not the same kind that they used on the Neiwan line, but what I think is that this was testing from Taipei workshop, because when a locomotive or a rail car was overhauled, they ran it to Hsinchu to test. And so the only reason I know why it would be in Hsinchu is that it was testing. So this is not the same kind of rail car that was used on Neiwan line, which was DR 2300 or DR 2400. These were the Fei Kwai Cha rail cars. And I love this picture because you can see the men, they unloaded coal by hand, you know. It's very hard work, you know. Very, very hard work. Well, some Japanese people visited Taiwan in 1965, and they had permission to visit a Jai roundhouse and other special places. But he was a good photographer, so he took this picture here. But he let me use it in my book. Switchback number 1 station. Yeah. Switchback number 1. Yeah. First Z switch, yeah. But when I was a boy, that was my favorite. Doing this on the Fei Kwai Cha, that was my favorite. Nothing like it. Nothing ever like it. Thank you for coming. You should see this exhibition upstairs.
Yeah?
It's exceptional.
Really, it's fantastic.
Well, it's over there, and it's on that. His father's family are from the same area in Norway, 1 kilometer apart, and I think there's a relative. I think we're relatives. Maybe.